Hey you guys, what's going on? It's your girl Tay, and I am here for a Real Housewives of Atlanta review, season 8, episode, whatever episode this is. It'll be in the title box below. But let's just get into it. So we start off with the continuation with Portia and Cynthia. You know, Cynthia got her hands all up in Portia's face, so Portia does the same thing back to her. Portia, Portia gets over, kind of hovers over Cynthia or whatever, and then next thing you know, Cynthia kicks her. That's where the kick happens at. And, all the girls are like, what the fuck is going on? Like, are they fighting? And, that producer dude that was holding Portia down, like, he was holding her down for dear. Like, he was literally laying on top of her like, nah, bitch, you ain't getting out today. Like, nah, you gonna lay your ass right the fuck here. But, so what else happened? Oh yeah, so Candy, she tries to go over there to, see if Portia's okay, to try to calm Portia down, whatever. Kenya, she was like, no, Candy, don't go over there. Like, she's kicking and stuff, and you're pregnant, da da da. And Candy like, she ain't gonna kick me. And then Kenya was like, but no, you're pregnant, whatever, and she's acting crazy and all this stuff. And so Kenya running her mouth about Portia, talking about something, she's acting crazy, and they're like as if this whole situation is Portia's fault. You know what I'm saying? But typical Kenya fashion, whatever. So moving on, Kenya gets Portia and the girl Shamia, whatever. What the fuck happened? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers and Indiana Colts game. I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I'm trying to see what the fuck done happened. All I see is a whole bunch of motherfuckers laying on top of each other. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see what the hell happened. Damn. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to see the replay of the shit. Alright, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, so Kenya gets Portia and Shamia escorted off the boat. Candy, she's saying she know Portia didn't mean the bitch comment like that, like we all been saying all fucking ready. Anyways, Cynthia, she's irritated. She's telling the cameras to get the fuck out. She calls Peter and tells him, to come home. She tells him about what the fuck happened. Candy, Sheree, and Kim, they're talking, and Kim, she starts tearing up, and she's like, this shouldn't have gone this far. Like, they're better than that. Like, it shouldn't have gone this far. Like, they could have talked it out or whatever. Like, I just don't understand. Like, I'm not used to this. I said, Kim, girl. I'm sorry, but it was kind of funny when Kim was crying. I mean, y'all know what I mean. It was just kind of funny to me, because it's like, Kim, girl. I mean, I get it, because I was disappointed in the way this shit went down. I really was. I was disappointed in this whole situation. But, damn, I mean, Kim, girl, you ain't had to cry. It's alright, Kim. It's gonna be alright. We gonna make it. 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 Y'all remember that song by, Rough Riders or whatever? That was my shit. But, anyways, so Tammy, she finally shows up after being gone to God who knows where, Antarctica and back. And she was like, yeah, I was changing my clothes and I heard a whole bunch of commotion or whatever. And so yeah, so anyways, we get Portia at her house with Shamia. Portia mom comes over to pretty much check up on her. Portia, she got a couple of bruises. She explains her side of the story to her mom and everything. And Portia says she's been trying to be nothing but supportive to Cynthia, and for her to just overreact like that, pretty much, it was just crazy. And she was like, she pretty much done washed her hands with Cynthia, like, the court is in Cynthia's ball now. I mean, the court isn't. No, the ball. I said the court, Lord. The ball is in Cynthia's court now to make this shit right. And I mean, even though we haven't seen, I don't think Portia and Cynthia actually had a conversation about Cynthia's marriage personally, just one-on-one. But I mean, we have seen Portia say to other people in the group that she don't want them to divorce and everything. You know what I'm saying? So, oh yeah, and that's when Portia was saying, like, I've been saying, I don't want her to get a divorce, and, I know so much shit about her husband that could ruin her motherfucking life. But I see that she's hurting, and I done been through this shit, and I don't want her to get a divorce, and da-da, and all this stuff. So, that's, the end of that. We get Kim and Phaedra. They meet up. Remember, Phaedra didn't come to the boat thing, or whatever you want to call it. So Kim is pretty much telling Phaedra what happens. We also get Kenya talking to her aunt and somebody else about the situation. Candy is talking to Cameron and Don Juan about the situation, and Kenya, you know how she is. She's sitting up here talking about Portia, said, whatever, bitch, or whatever. Like, she was like, the tone that she said it in. Like, Kenya, bitch, stop motherfucking lying. The way that Portia said that shit was not the way you trying to make it seem. She did not say it in a derogatory way like you trying to make the shit seem. So please get the fuck out. And if you gonna tell some facts, you need to tell them motherfucking right. Because, I mean, was you actually standing right there? Or was she? Hold on, wait a minute. So I'm about ready to go off on her ass any motherfucking way in this episode, because she'd have pissed me off. But either way, she didn't say bitch like that. So motherfucking stop it. Stop telling your aunt and whoever else was sitting right the fuck there these motherfucking lies. And then the girl who was there go ahead and nerve to say some you can't take the ghetto out the girl, some shit like that. Like, bitch, you don't shut your ass up somewhere, because you won't even fucking there. You're just going off what the fuck Kenya's saying. Alright? So anyways, when Candy is telling Don Juan and Cameron what happened, she's pretty much saying, like, Portia didn't mean it that way or whatever. Cynthia just started going off and da-da-da-da. And, Don Juan, he pretty much preaching. He was like, why the fuck, you don't even need to be there anyway. You motherfucking pregnant and shit. And he was like, pretty much saying grown-ass women arguing over somebody calling them a bitch or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And saying that the shit was stupid. And, I mean, the whole situation was pretty stupid, Cynthia and Peter, Cynthia saying she pretty much feels bad and thinking maybe she overreacted. She's saying this in her confessionals or whatever. Peter is pretty much telling her, like, she had no choice or whatever, and because she was telling him, like, she could have did something different or whatever. And Cynthia, she gets upset at Peter because Peter's saying, like, you hurt her or whatever, blah blah blah. Was saying, he kept on saying, like, you hurt her, and before he could really finish what he was saying, she was like, stop saying that or whatever. He was like, saying what? He was like, stop saying that. She was like, stop saying that I hurt her, like, and he was like, well, what else do you want me to say? And she was like, say, like, hopefully she's all right or something, you know what I'm saying? And Cynthia was like, I mean, not Cynthia, Peter, he was like, well, next time you see Portia, just apologize for kicking her or whatever. And he was like, but you know, you've been, 40 something years, and you ain't never been in a situation like this, so obviously it's something going on with you or whatever. So like, what's been up with you? And she, admits that she hasn't been herself, and everything that's going on with them, yada yada yada. They talk. I didn't really pay attention to the rest of the conversation, but they hug it out. So whatever. We get Candy and Todd. They go to the doctor. They go see Dr. Jackie about the baby. Something, things kind of seem off at first when they're checking the baby's heartbeat. Todd has the nerve to take his smurf ass outside to take a motherfucking phone call. And Candy was like, I mean, like, he could have took that call after this appointment or whatever. I try to do the damn impersonation. I can't do it like Rocks. Rocks got that shit on point, like for real. But anyways, she was saying like, yeah, he could have taken that call after the appointment, which I agree. Like, ain't no call that fucking important where you couldn't have waited and called the fuck back after the appointment was over. I feel like that was really selfish of you, Todd, to do that. You could have motherfucking waited. This is, your baby's health and your wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, but whatever. I mean, if the shoe was on the other foot, though, he would be mad. I'm just saying. But whatever. I digress. Oh yeah, but Dr. Jackie, she, tries again or whatever, and they finally hear the heartbeat and everything. So things are looking good. Next we get Phaedra and the kids. They were cute. That's all I have to say about that scene. Moving on. We get Kenya and Cynthia's phone conversation, and they talked about, of course, what happened. Kenya calls Cynthia Kung Fu Panda. Cynthia's kind of, slightly laughing, but she really doesn't want to, because she doesn't want to be looked at as that. You know what I'm saying? Cynthia says she feels bad, and Kenya is saying that she plans on having everybody come for lunch or whatever, so her and Portia can talk about it. Cynthia is saying, do you think it's too soon or whatever? And Kenya was like, well, no, because when me and Portia had our situation, I think because we let it fester so long, fester for a long time, it just, we kept on getting to arguments or whatever, instead of just basically nipping the shit in the bud from the jump off. You know what I'm saying? But in which, I kind of agree. I mean, I know some people, they, when certain situations happen, it take them some time to really just, I mean, especially, like a situation like that anyway, after getting kicked, it takes people time. But I mean, with these group of girls, you just got to kind of nip shit in the bud right then and there, so it doesn't fester and turn more and more, hostile and what's the word I'm looking for? More hostile and toxic. That's the word I was looking for. And so Kenya says that she was going to make a lunch date with Portia to talk to her one-on-one first about what happened, and then they all, can meet up. So, oh, okay, yeah. So Kenya and Portia, they meet up for their lunch and everything. Portia pretty much, explains her side of things, and Kenya had the nerve to say Portia don't take responsibility for her actions. Black kettle calling the pot, or whatever that saying is. Y'all know what the fuck I mean. Kenya got a lot of fucking nerve to be talking, cause that bitch don't take responsibility for nothing that she do, and if she do, it ain't sincere, cause she'll still bring the shit up like she was doing with when she was talking to Portia. So she claims Portia didn't apologize to Cynthia or whatever, which, okay, Portia she was semi apologizing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she, like I said last week, she should have just said, you know what, Cynthia, I really apologize. I didn't mean to offend you. I thought we all was playing, but I didn't, I didn't mean for you to take it as offense or whatever. I apologize, and let's just keep it moving. Something like that. But like I said, once again, I'm more on Portia's side on this situation than I am Cynthia's. You know what I'm saying? But Kenya, don't sit up here and act like as if Portia didn't make some kind of effort at all. Alright? She was like, you didn't go over there to apologize, whatever. Portia feels like Kenya is talking at her, which she was, in my opinion. In which Kenya always does. She talks at people instead of talk to them like they're human beings. Portia says that, she know Kenya doesn't have any compassion for her or whatever, and Kenya was like, yes, I do, or whatever, in her little fake ass voice. And Portia was like, no, you don't. And I don't feel like Kenya has any compassion. I don't feel like Kenya have any compassion for any motherfucking body. To be quite frank with you. But, anyways. So, that's when Kenya starts to bring up the incident with Portia and, between her and Portia. And this is like, are we really going to go through this? See, this is why I can't get with Kenya. Because when I tries to, somewhat defend her and be on her side about shit, she'll prove to me the next motherfucking week why I shouldn't. Because she's always doing or saying some fuck shit. You and this girl done obviously gotten past this situation, and then you gonna bring this shit up again as a motherfucking example. If for one, you can't even use that shit as an example, Kenya, because you were provoking Portia, and I don't know if I got any subscribers that's Team Twirl, but if I do, I'm sorry, but I'm just saying how I feel. And as you can see, I'm pretty much like the other YouTubers that, in what their opinion was when the situation between those two happened. Kenya, you provoked Portia in that situation. You kept on over talking her. You kept on doing the bullhorn thing and then putting the whatchamacallit shit all up in her motherfucking face. After talking all this mess about her for the last 2 seasons. Portia simply tried to somewhat apologize to Cynthia for Cynthia overreacting about some shit that wasn't that motherfucking serious. And if we want to get technical here, technically, Cynthia started putting her motherfucking hands in Portia's face first. Now, I'm kind of like Tammy Roman. And me and her, we both are Aries. Now, I'm not, on that bullying shit like how Tammy be. I love you, Tammy, but I'm just saying. But I'm kind of like on the whole tip, don't do all this in my motherfucking face, because that's going to lead to a motherfucking confrontation. I mean, it's going to be past a confrontation. It's going to lead to a motherfucking ball out, fall out. I don't do that shit. But at the same time, I will say Portia didn't necessarily have to get over top of her neither. Portia should, could have just been like, okay, you know what? You want to do all this in my face? All right, I'm done. Whatever. But it didn't happen like that, just a lot of shit happened. But anyways, that's when Kenya decided, when Portia was like, you know what, I'm about to leave. That's when Kenya going to try to claim in her confessional she just going to be the bigger person, whatever. And she was like, that's when she says that Portia and Cynthia both was wrong in the situation and she wants everybody to come for lunch or whatever. I feel like Kenya only said that just to be saying that shit, because I really believe in her heart she felt like Portia was 100% wrong in this situation. But moving on. Finally, the lunch. So Candy and Kim, they show up first. The others are late. Then Phaedra shows up. What do you know? The late people is on time. And the people who are usually so-called on time are late. Did y'all make that observation? You know, and when it was just Kim and Candy at the table at first though, Kim was like, you know, you gonna invite somebody to something, you got to be on time. Kim, girl, let me let you know something. This group is never on time for nothings. Nothings. Alright? So just get used to that. But anyway, so yeah, Phaedra shows up. She was like, I don't know why Kenya invited me to this thing or whatever. I guess she felt like she needed a lawyer present. I said, Phaedra, Faye girl. I mean, I'm just saying. Eyes can say a lot of words. I don't even have to say nothing on that. Talking about some need a lawyer present. Okay. Moving on. You know, Candy, she makes a little comment in her confessionals about, you know, me and Phaedra talk, but I don't know if it's genuine. I'm just like, y'all might as well just be cordial. I wouldn't even stress about being motherfucking friends at this point. Just be motherfucking cordial, because it just, anyways, whatever. Moving on, because I'm not about to get on to that. Everybody else, oh no. Kim breaks the ice, or whatever, because I think, yeah, Cynthia ended up showing up and everything, and I think Kim asks about how she was doing, or whatever, something like that. Kenya and Portia, they arrived together. And Phaedra, she had said something about it, and I was like, yeah, girl, I'm with you on that. They showing up somewhere together. I guess people really is trying to turn over new leaves, huh? Anyways, so Kim explains her position on the situation or whatever, like she's not taking sides, and you know, maybe you guys can have a conversation, whatever. Portia and Cynthia, they have their side conversation. Kenya talks about Portia and, you know, about what happened at their little lunch meeting. And Candy pretty much checks Kenya, talking about, you know, I feel like you always talk about what everybody else does, but don't talk about what you do or whatever. Kenya gets kind of snappy with Candy or whatever, and calls Candy an advocate for Portia, this, that, and the third. And she was like, I wish you would advocate for me, or, you know, whatever. And it's like, bitch, you make it hard for a motherfucker to advocate your ass. Because you don't know how to motherfucking act. Then, like she said, you always talking about what everybody else do, but what the fuck Kenya Moore does. Alright? You make it hard, like, and when motherfuckers do advocate for your ass, like I said, the very next week, we have to tell your ass about yourself once a motherfucking year. Like, you're a grown ass woman. Why are you pressed to have somebody, another grown ass woman, advocate for you? Like you're a little fucking kid. Like, ooh, y'all. This is why I got my damn readers on. To read her motherfucking ass real quick. Shit. I don't wear glasses for real, y'all. This is just for fashion purposes. But, I'm just saying. Anyways. So, what else happened? Oh, yeah. Kenya gonna talk about something. I would go there with Candy, but, you know, she's pregnant, and, you know, and that'll be bad karma, whatever. Okay. Moving on. So, ooh, hold on. Oh yeah. Portia and Cynthia conversation goes well. They both pretty much explain their positions on the situation. They hug it out. Portia makes a little joke like, oh, like as if Cynthia was about to kick her again or whatever. And they hug it out or whatever. They come back and everybody's, you know, all happy and everything. And Sheree, she makes a joke to Cynthia like, "You ain't gonna kick nobody else, is you?" And then Cynthia's like, "No, no, whatever." So that was pretty much the episode, y'all. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the Love and Hip Hop Hollywood review reunion part 2. Love you guys. Mwah.